There was no explosion, no alarm, no flashing red lights, just silence. Chief Petty Officer Mark Hale had walked this same perimeter for 8 years. Same fence, same gravel crunch under his boots, same early morning fog rolling in from the coast like it owned the place. Beside him, his K9 partner, Rex, moved with steady discipline. Until he didn't. Rex froze. Not distracted. Not curious. Frozen. His ears tilted forward. Muscles tightened. Nose lifted into the wind. Hale stopped immediately. Rex wasn't a rookie dog. He had served 2 overseas deployments and saved 3 lives. If Rex reacted, it meant something. "What is it, boy?" Hale whispered. Rex didn't bark. He stared. Beyond the outer fence line, barely visible through the fog, stood a small figure. A child. A little girl, maybe 6 or 7, wearing a thin red jacket that didn't belong in weather this cold. She wasn't crying. She wasn't waving. She was just standing there, watching. Hale frowned. The base sat miles from the nearest residential area. No child could wander here by accident. He pressed the radio on his vest. "Control, this is Hale. I have a civilian miner outside the east perimeter. Request guidance." Static. No response. That was strange. He tried again. Nothing. Rex let out a low growl now, not aggressive, but uneasy. Hale stepped closer to the fence. The girl didn't move. "Hey there," he called gently. "Sweetheart, are you lost?" The wind shifted. Rex suddenly pulled hard against the leash. Not toward the girl. Away from her. Hale felt it instantly. Something wasn't right. The fog thickened unnaturally fast. The air pressure changed, like the moment before a thunderstorm. Then Rex did something he had never done before. He planted his body in front of Hale, blocking him, refusing to let him take another step forward. "Rex, heel." The dog didn't obey. Instead, he stared at the girl and began to bark. Sharp, urgent, warning. And that's when Hale noticed it. The girl wasn't blinking. Not once. Hale's instincts kicked in. Military training overrides emotion. He stepped back. The girl's head tilted slightly, too smoothly, too mechanical. Rex's barking grew louder. The fog behind the child began to ripple, as if the air itself were glitching. And then Hale saw it. A shimmer. Metal. The red jacket flickered for half a second. Underneath wasn't skin. It was synthetic casing. Control. Possible drone decoy. Hale shouted into the radio. Still static. Dead silence. The base communications tower stood only 200 yards away, but somehow the signal was being jammed. The girl took one step forward. Her movement wasn't natural. It was calculated. Balanced. Perfect. Rex lunged, snarling now. Hale unclipped the leash. The dog didn't attack. He circled, protecting. A low-frequency hum vibrated through the ground. Hale's pulse spiked. IED. Improvised explosive device. The child wasn't lost. She was bait. Rex barked again, then suddenly bolted sideways. Not toward the drone. Toward the fence support pole. Hale followed his line of sight and saw it. A small device wired at the base of the fence post, partially buried under gravel. Pressure triggered. If Hale had stepped forward another 3 feet, the vibration would have detonated it. Rex hadn't just sensed the decoy. He'd smelled the explosive. The drone's face glitched again. Its eyes went black, then red. Hale drew his sidearm, but didn't fire. Instead, he grabbed Rex and sprinted backward. Bomb threat. East perimeter, he shouted, even though he knew no one could hear. The ground trembled. For half a second, everything slowed. Rex shoved Hale forward with his full body weight, and the world went white. The explosion tore through the silence like a thunderclap. Metal screamed. Concrete shattered. Hale felt himself hit the ground hard. The wind knocked from his lungs. For a moment he heard nothing. Just ringing. Smoke filled the air. Debris rained down. He coughed, forcing himself up onto his elbows. "Rex," he choked. No answer. Panic surged through him, stronger than the blast. He pushed through the smoke. The fence line was destroyed. The decoy drone lay in twisted metal pieces. The bomb had detonated outward, away from the base, away from the communications tower, away from the main barracks. It had been placed to breach the perimeter and create chaos. But it hadn't succeeded. Because Rex had moved them. Because Rex had forced distance. Rex, Hale shouted again. A faint sound answered.
A whine.
Hale followed it. 20 feet from the blast center, partially shielded by a concrete drainage block, Rex lay on his side.
Alive.
Injured, but alive. Hale dropped beside him. You stupid, brave dog, he whispered, hands shaking as he checked for bleeding. Rex's tail thumped weakly. Emergency sirens finally wailed in the distance. Backup units rushed toward them. Hale pressed his forehead gently against Rex's. You saved everyone, he said quietly. The medics arrived minutes later. As they lifted Rex onto a stretcher, Hale stood, covered in dust and ash. He looked at the shattered perimeter. If he had stepped forward, if Rex had obeyed, if that leash hadn't gone slack, the barracks would be gone. Dozens of lives.
Gone.
Instead, one dog had refused to stand down. 3 weeks later, the base gathered under clear blue skies. Rex stood beside Hale, a bandage still wrapped around his shoulder, but healing well. A small crowd of officers, enlisted personnel, and families formed a quiet semicircle. At the front stood the commanding officer. Today, she began, we honor a soldier who cannot speak, but whose actions spoke louder than any of us. Hale swallowed. Rex sat perfectly still, alert but calm. A perimeter breach attempt was neutralized due to the instincts and courage of K-9 Unit Rex. His refusal to comply with the direct command prevented mass casualties. There was no applause at first, just silence, the kind that carries weight. Then clapping. Strong. Respectful. Hale knelt as the medal was gently secured to Rex's tactical harness. The dog didn't understand the ceremony. He didn't understand medals. He only understood his job.
Protect.
The commanding officer stepped closer. To some, he's a military asset, she said. To us, he's family. Hale scratched behind Rex's ear. You disobeyed me, he murmured softly. Rex looked up at him, eyes steady. Hale smiled.
Good.
As the ceremony ended, reporters asked Hale what went through his mind when the dog refused his command. He paused, then answered simply, I trusted him. Because sometimes loyalty doesn't mean obedience. Sometimes it means knowing when not to listen. And that morning, one dog chose instinct over instruction. And saved them all.